Hi, my name is Jessica Gomes, and I am running for a House Representative in Cranston's District 18. I support a parent's right to make educational choices for their children. On May 19th, myself and the rest of the homeschool community went to the State House to testify in opposition of proposed Bill H8531, which would give local school committees more authority to deny or delay homeschool requests based on things like truancy concerns or whether or not they believe that homeschooling is in the best interest of that child. And while we were there, some families asked me questions like, do you think this bill is going to pass? And what happens from here? And does our testimony actually matter? So now I want to answer those questions so that way moving forward, you can stay informed instead of having to wait for someone else to inform you. Because the more people who understand the process, the stronger our voices become. So let's get into it. A bill existing does not mean that that bill becomes law. So never panic. What happens is first a legislator drafts a bill, and then they need sponsors or people who support that bill to sign that bill and show their public support. Those sponsors are important because those are the people who are publicly supporting that bill. Then the bill gets assigned to committee. Now, the committee is not necessarily the people who actually support the bill. Those are the sponsors. The committee is just responsible for holding hearings, doing research, and listening to testimony. After the committee holds the hearings, then they decide what is going to happen with the bill. So a couple of things can happen. The bill could move forward, the bill could die, or the bill could be held for further study, which is what we saw happen in the case of this homeschool bill. And honestly, most bills are held for further study. So typically when something is held for further study, one of four things can happen. Most commonly, the bill will just die in committee. The second thing that they could do is hold the bill for later. So basically just hold on to it and then schedule another hearing in the future. The third thing that they could do is they could amend the bill. They could make changes to it based on the testimony that they hear or based on the research that the members of the committee have done. And then the fourth thing that could happen is that leadership could just hold on to it, just keep it open because potentially maybe the bill at that time doesn't have enough support to move it forward, but it's something that they want to keep on the table as an option. The important thing to understand is that held for further study does not mean that the bill is passed, but it also does not mean that the bill is dead. Which is why it is important to pay attention to any proposed bill that is important to you immediately. You want to pay attention to it immediately. Because if nobody's paying attention, bad bills can get further through the process than they really should. So in conclusion, a bill gets introduced. The bill needs sponsors. Once it has sponsors, it goes to committee. The committee is not necessarily the people who support the bill. They are just responsible for listening to testimony, doing research, holding the hearings, and then based on that, they decide whether or not the bill is going to move forward. So the bill can either move forward, it can be held for further study, or it can die. Whatever the case, whatever it is that happens to the bill, it's important that you as a voter is aware of all of the bills that are currently going through the House legislation so that way you can stay informed and you can make your voice heard on bills that you do not think should be signed into law. In my next video, I'll explain the difference between the committee, the full House, and I'll also explain the role that the Senate actually plays in all of this, which would also help to kind of alleviate some panic when we see some of these bills get introduced. My name is Jessica Gomes, and I am running for House Representative in Cranston's District 18.